How's it going, guys? My name is Zach with the Movie Castle, and today we're going to be taking a look at Return to Silent Hill. This just came out January 23rd, 2026, and was directed by Christopher Gans. The movie stars Jeremy Irvine, Hannah Emily Anderson, and Evie Templeton. Yeah, the creepy girl on the front of the box is actually the invisible girl from Wednesday Season 2. Now, this is the third live-action Silent Hill movie, but it's actually based on the second video game, Silent Hill 2 by Konami. Now, that being said, I'm not the biggest gamer, but my brother Mike is, and whenever I do a video game movie review, I like to give him a really quick shout out. He actually just made his own indie horror video game. It's called What Happens After Midnight, and if you guys like that whole Silent Hill parallel world horror, exploring strange new places, you guys might get a kick out of it. It's on the Steam store. I'll leave a link in the description and a playlist in the cards. Now, all that being said, while I'm not the hugest gamer, I really do love the world of Silent Hill, and it's always great to get a chance to check it out. The super cool, creepy city, the siren that changes everything, and all the creatures and monsters and stuff. It's really, really fun. And I'm actually a pretty big fan of the first movie, the 2006 one. Yeah, it definitely isn't perfect, and it does get a little squirrely towards the end, but gee, the production design on the first movie was really great. And when I heard that they brought Christopher Gans back, the guy who did the first movie, I was pretty excited. And on top of that, it's based on Silent Hill 2, which a lot of fans consider to be one of the best games in the series. I never played it, but a little bit ago I did watch a YouTube walkthrough of the game, and it's a really good story. I love piecing together James' backstory and getting to see Pyramid Head for the first time. The game is really, really cool. So original director, second game, this thing looked like it might be something, and then the bad news started to roll in. It was a January release. That's not a good sign. They didn't promote it that much. There weren't ads everywhere. And it didn't even come to that many theaters. And when the early reviews got out, you could totally see why. There was just a wave going through the internet of just destroying this movie. People saying it was the worst thing ever. And what little theaters it had, it lost pretty quick. Sadly, I missed the theatrical run for this film, but when it came to Walmart and I saw the DVD, I'm like, you know what? I want to check this thing out. Let's see what's up with it. And yeah, no, it is not great. I don't want to say it's the worst thing ever. Like, if this was direct-to-video, like if this was a low-budget streamer, you would say, it doesn't work, but whatever, it has its moments. Every now and then there is a cool shot or a cool creature, you know, some moment from the game that you can see in real life and you're like, oh, that's fun. And there's probably a few good clips and imagery you can pull out of this movie. But sadly, most of the time it's just a case of, I see what you are going for, but you really didn't get it. There's moments in this movie where the plot just comes out super clunky, and sadly that really cool production design that part 1 had, not so much in this one. Everything seems like bad CGI, even the stuff that's real. And yeah, the whole thing's kind of a mess. But before we get too far, what's the movie itself about? I'm not going to do any major spoilers. I'll focus primarily on setup and then break down and analyze a few things that don't work, but I'll be avoiding the end. So let's take a bit of a deeper dive. We open up with James meeting Mary, the love of his life, and all seems to be going pretty good, but then we cut to a few years later. James is by himself, we don't know what happened to Mary, but the two are separated and he's depressed. That's when he gets a letter from Mary saying, hey, come back to our town, come back to Silent Hill. And when he does, he finds the town's now in a state of distress. Apparently a natural disaster swept through, all the buildings are decrepit, and most of the people are gone. The few people left are acting pretty strangely, and he has to figure out what's going on here. Of course it gets more intense than that as monsters start to show up, and of course a siren that takes the world from bad to worse, which leads him several things to navigate as he searches for his lost love. Now, a few things to unpack, and I'm debating what to talk about first, but let's just talk about the story and characters. We actually open up with that meet-cute between James and Mary, and right off the bat you get to see people acting strangely, not the way that normal people do. James is high, smoking as he drives down the road, and runs into Mary's suitcases. If she had been standing by them, she could have been killed. But they pack up her stuff really quick as the bus pulls up, and when one of the suitcases springs open, Mary just shoos the bus off, and she's like, oh, I was planning on going somewhere, but you know what? I don't want to take the 20 seconds it takes to shovel my stuff back in the suitcase. The bus isn't even trying to go. She literally tells it to go, and she cancels her whole plans over something so incredibly trivial. And you know what? That guy that could have killed me, James, the impaired driver, I love him now. Come on, just let's go to Silent Hill, I guess. And yeah, that's so strange and so weird. That's not how normal people act. And right off the bat, I think this is actually the very first scene. It just kind of disconnects you from the movie. And that's the thing, is I wanted to get into this movie so much more than I did, but it really had a way of pushing you away, of making you feel disconnected. Whenever you meet one of the other characters, they seem really poorly thought out. Like Eddie's in this movie for I think just one scene, and it seems super random, and you're like, what's going on with these other people? But not in a good way. In the games, you would see these characters repeating from time to time, and each time you kind of got to piece together their backstory, and also watch them go more and more downhill. There were people that were kind of in the same boat as you, but for a different reason, and here they just seem super random and out of place. The plot also really gets hung up with these flashback sequences. They're super brightly lit, and I know they're supposed to be a little jarring, but it is not good. And we get really hung up with the cult subplot. And yeah, the cult's in the games, but it was the deepest level. It was what you had to get to really think about and figure out what's truly going on. Here it's all on the surface, and it feels like it's just spouting the plot at you. Same with this therapist character that James calls a few times. We're just getting kind of plot heavy, and we're not getting into the human emotion. And that's the thing, the game was all about human emotion. And here's one of their huge mistakes with this movie. In the game, you knew right off the bat why Mary wasn't with James. You knew what caused their relationship to end. And when you know that piece of information, you're like, but if that happened, then how would he have gotten this letter from her? And it was such an intriguing hook, but instead of it being a hook, in the movie they save it towards the end, and it's a twist. And I think with the whole twist thing is you have to think the mystery before versus dealing with the ramifications after. Where does that mean I should reveal this? And in the game, with it being a hook and really pulling you into the world, I think the story needed that. Also knowing right from the beginning what happened, you can start to analyze the creatures and the world and all that symbolism. You start to try to think about it, and you start to piece together his backstory. Again, you don't have a million flashbacks in the game, so you have to piece this stuff together, and it was way, way more intriguing to do it that way. So yeah, the plot just keeps getting clunky, the characters aren't super real, and the mystery isn't as good, so yeah, it kinda kept me from getting into it. But besides the story, there is one other glaring issue with this movie, and that's the look and the feel. The first one, so much of it was practical, and when you're exploring, it felt like you were really exploring. But here, everything looks digital. Like, a lot of it was actually shot for real. I had to look up some behind-the-scenes photographs, and while there was giant blue screens in the background, more of it was real than I thought. But between the obvious CGI and the really harsh lighting here, the CGI stands out like a sore thumb, and when you have so much of it, you start to think the whole movie is just CGI. It really doesn't feel like an honest-to-goodness, real lived-in world. And to be honest, I feel like the world of the original video game felt more honest and lived in than this. And I think a really good example of that is I watched some of the behind the scenes where they're talking about the creatures. The hoodie monster is in this one, and I thought it was all just a CGI creature, but they actually did have a person in the costume, but they just messed with it so much in post that it doesn't look real. And yeah, the movie doesn't look and doesn't feel real, so that's another thing keeping you out of this world, keeping you from getting into the movie. Much like with the first movie and much like with the games, there's lots of exploring sequences in here. But in the first movie and in the games, we're exploring with them, we're invested. In this movie though, when he starts to explore, it kinda starts to feel aimless. And I kinda started to space out a little bit. Honestly, I love the world of Silent Hill and I love to get more of it. But this movie, it feels pretty forgettable. I knew I had to get this review done really quick because I can already feel it sliding out of my mind. I don't want to say it's the worst movie ever. It does have a few moments here and there, and you can see enough effort and enough budget, but it's hard to believe that this was made by the same guy that did the first one, and honestly, there are times in this movie where it feels more 2006 than the first one did. I don't know what happened here, but I wish we got something better. And I do worry, like Resident Evil got 7 movies so far with another one on the way, plus all the animated movies they did. Silent Hill has had 3 movies and they've come out super sporadically. I worry this has hurt the franchise and we probably won't see another one for at least 6 years. Which is too bad. They really need to go in and make straight video game adaptations. And I would love if they could cover them all, but whatever, it is what it is. Not the worst thing ever, but nothing great. I just wish it panned out. But whatever. Anyway, all that being said, to everyone who's watched so far, thank you for watching. To everyone who's liked and subscribed, thank you. You really are helping the channel out. I'll leave a relevant playlist on the bottom. If you guys want to see me talk about more stuff kind of like this, feel free to click right here and see more. Anyway, have a good day. I'll see you guys again very soon. That playlist is right here. Have a good day now.